The New York Giants are ready to capitalize on the Bears' huge slip up. Let's talk about it. My name is Paul. This is Big Apple Sports, talking Giants content every single day. So if you're a fan of Giants football, take just a second, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Got a lot more content coming. And then let me know in the comments who's going to win Sunday. What matchups do you like? I always just enjoy talking these games out with you guys, so hit me up in the comments. Um, so now the Bears have had some controversy around the team, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. And then after that, I'm going to get into specifically why I think some of the matchups this Sunday could end up favoring the Giants, and this could be a closer game than some people are predicting. But first, the Bears. Not sure if you saw the story about Rome Odunze this week. His father went on social media after I think Odunze had 0 catches against the Bengals, which is pretty crazy considering there were like 100 points scored in that game. But Rome Odunze's dad went on to social media and said he wants the Bears to trade Odunze to a team that will actually throw to him. Rome sounds like he handled it pretty maturely. Said he speaks for himself, I speak for myself, I'm happy here. But it is interesting going into this game because I think a lot of times when you see one of these wide receivers who aren't getting the ball and aren't happy with their role, sometimes you see the quarterback in the next game come out and try to force them the football to quiet that problem. And I could potentially see a scenario in which the Bears are trying to force feed Rome Odunze a little bit. And it could be big for the Giants because it sounds like Cordell Flott is going to be back this week. He has been huge on the defense this year. I've been super impressed with him. The one thing the Bears have been doing this year is they force turnovers and they win the turnover battle. Like the Bears have a bad defense. They are bottom 10 in yardage. They're bottom 5 in points allowed. But they force a lot of turnovers, and then on the flip side, they don't turn it over a lot. But if you have a game where Caleb maybe feels like he needs to send a little love Rome's way because they want to get rid of this controversy as they push for the playoffs, maybe you see Caleb make a big mistake, throw a pick to Cordell Flott. Who knows? But regardless, it's always good when your opponent is having to be distracted talking about like somebody in the locker room's dad on social media and calm down questions about whether you're unhappy there. Like when your opponent is in disarray like that, that's positive. And then another big thing I like for the game this weekend is it sounds like Drew Phillips is back to 100%. And he's been hit or miss for a lot of the year, but what he does really well, and that I think he struggled a little bit when he had this calf issue, is he really gets to the line of scrimmage and makes big tackles. And then you combine that with the fact that Javon Holland, it sounds like he's probably going to play, which means that Dane Belton is going to be able to do more in like his hybrid role that he usually plays. I feel like Belton and Drew Phillips are big time in terms of getting to the line of scrimmage and tackling on those outside runs. And let me tell you, the Bears, like Caleb might want to force the ball to Rome. Maybe Ben Johnson even draws up a couple plays for Rome. But they're also going to want to run the football. You look at the rushing stats in the NFL right now, they are number 2 in the NFL behind only the Buffalo Bills. And honestly, from what I've read, it sounds like the Bears struggled running the football at the beginning of the year. And the last 4 or 5 games, they've really been the number 1 rushing team in the NFL. And I don't know if you've heard this or witnessed it as a Giants fan, but the Giants kind of stink at defending the run. I could probably even pull it up here just a second. But the Bears are going to want to run the football. And Yeah, here we go. Giants are the second worst team in the NFL in terms of defending the run. The only team worse is the Bengals, who just gave up 47 to the Bears, and their backup running back, Kyle Monangai, almost had 200 yards against them. So, like, they're going to want to do that to the Giants. So, having Drew Phillips at 100% and Dane Belton playing more in his natural role should really help against at least those outside runs. And then, hopefully, it's going to be kind of a nasty day out there. Sounds like it could be a cold rain. Sounds like it might even snow. So the Giants really are going to need to win the turnover battle. Like I said, the Bears have been they lead the NFL in turnovers forced. So this is going to be a huge test for Jackson Dart to prove that he can protect the football. He can play in these nasty outdoor games. And then hopefully we see, like I had said at the beginning, we see Caleb trying to send a little extra love Rome's way, knowing that there's been kind of some controversy surrounding the team, and that the Giants maybe could even win the turnover battle in this game. And then just kind of looking forward at the rest of this Giants season, it's going to be tough sledding here. Packers, at Lions, at Patriots. These are 4 teams in a row trying to compete for the playoffs, so it would be huge. I would say the Bears are probably the worst of these 4 teams, and then especially considering their injuries right now, not that I'm ever celebrating a team's injuries, but TJ Edwards is out this week for them, Kyler Gordon, Jalen Johnson, both of their starting corners, and Edwards and Gordon are huge in the run defense for them, so hopefully the Giants can get that going. And then they also just lost Dayo Odeyingbo, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's out for the season at defensive end as well, so they are hurting on defense. And so I would love to see Jackson Dart have a big-time game this weekend. And I know some people are probably at the point where it's like, Paul, they're not making the playoffs. They might be 2-11 after this stretch. Let's get the number 1 pick in the draft. And I get that. And I want the Giants to have a good draft pick so they can continue to build around Dart. Maybe even have a scenario where they can trade down and add all sorts of first and second round picks to build around him. But young quarterbacks also really need to learn how to win games and how to close out games. And I don't think you can underrate that. Like that skill. Like you look at, that Broncos Thursday night game was one of the most horrendous games I've ever watched in my life. But Bo Nix, as bad as he's been playing sometimes, he knows how to win. You saw it against the Giants. He plays well in the fourth quarter. He knows how to get it done when the game's on the line. And a lot of that stems from just learning how to win as a rookie. So I would love to see the Giants pull out a W this weekend and for Jackson Dart to start learning how to win. Truthfully, with the way the Bears running game has been playing, I don't know that a win is really going to happen. But the big thing is Jackson Dart has a huge opportunity for a monster game this weekend, and you never know. There's controversy surrounding the Bears right now. There's injuries on the team. And the Giants haven't played as well in recent weeks, but we've seen them play some really good football this year. So hopefully we get to see them do that Sunday. You guys let me know what you think, your thoughts on the game, and then don't forget, just like and subscribe on the way out.